The Beatles and Hello Goodbye. Oh, so nice to press play on that this afternoon. So, it is 21 minutes to 4 on BBC Radio Oxford. It's Friday, as you are well aware. The sun is shining and the weekend is around the corner. So, it's time to talk movies. Time for movie critic Van Connor to come on and have a little look at two that are out from today that you can go and see in the cinema this weekend with his brutally honest opinions. Let's see what we've got today. Good afternoon, Van Connor.
Good afternoon to you too, Mr. Ball. How's things?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you very much. We got, by the looks of things, two really, I'm saying this before I've spoken to you about them, but two really good movies by the looks of what you've chosen to talk about.
Well, two high-profile movies. I mean, there's no guarantee they're good just because of that. I mean,
you tease.
The first one of these is, I'll be honest, in my opinion, a proper stinker that's being held atop by what's clearly going to be a destined for an Oscar nomination at the very least performance. But the second one is quite fun. So should we start by talking about Tar?
All right, yeah, Tar. What's this all about? Is this psychological thriller?
I think it's trying to be at times. Right, so Kate Blanchett is a world-renowned conductor of like symphony orchestra. Lives in Berlin where she works with the orchestra, and over the course of a certain period of time, we start to see her life unravel as basically all of her misdeeds start to slowly come out in the form of like exposés and interviews that she's forced to give as part of her burgeoning career. And it as she sort of ascends from being like a star to being like a legend. But also at the same time, we start to see her grapple with this, how it starts to fracture the relationships in her life and how she starts to fall back on old patterns of bad behavior with the arrival of a new young student protege into the mix. I've got a clip for you of Kate Blanchett's Tar being interviewed early on, and this is very much the tone of this movie.
Time is the thing. Time is the essential piece of interpretation. You cannot start without me. See, I start the clock. Now, my left hand, it shapes, but my right hand, the second hand, marks time and moves it forward. However, unlike a clock, sometimes my second hand stops, which means that time stops. Now, the illusion is that, like you, I'm responding to the orchestra in real time, making the decision about the right moment to restart the thing or reset it or throw time out the window altogether. The reality is that right from the very beginning, I know precisely what time it is and the exact moment that you and I will arrive at our destination together.
See, I'm kind of drawn in with that. Kind of that fascinates me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, this is one of those. It's so ponderous. I mean, it's such a chamber piece. Like, this is something that I could have seen working very well as a stage play. As a movie, though, it's being kept aloft entirely by Kate Blanchett's admittedly very good performance. As you can hear, she's terrific in that clip because she's Kate Blanchett. Of course she's terrific. She's Kate Blanchett. Yeah. That's kind of the package. It's not enough. First of all, it's absolutely bum-numbing at 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours 38 this comes in at. Yeah, which is a hell of an investment for something that gives you very little return. It's also worth noting that this does close, no spoilers or anything, but this does close on one of the snootiest cultural middle fingers I have ever seen thrown up at the so-called plebs. Oh. Because, good Lord, I've seen some snotty moments in cinema. I'm a film critic, but this one took the cake. This one really did. It's an absolute cardigan film.
So without Kate, then, it just wouldn't even be a film.
How many people do you know that actually went and saw The Assistant? That answer is going to be exactly the same number of people who see this and enjoy it.
Right.
I can't imagine anyone really sinking their time into this without being sort of predisposed to liking it. But I don't think just being a fan of Kate Blanchett is really enough to keep this going for me. I found it really weak sauce, really ponderous, really slow, really dull, really trying, actually, as well. But gorgeous looking, like fantastically made. It's the fanciest movie I've ever hated. I'll give you that.
That's a great quote. I'd love to see that on the front box set of it, of the box that's DVD or whatever it might be these days. But I mean, if you want to make up your own mind, that's in cinemas from today. If you do. Now, the next one I'm looking forward to talking about because I've seen a bit of the trailer, I've seen some of the visuals, and all I'm going to say is it looks creepy. It's called M3GAN.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, first of all, I think we should be calling it M3GAN, because
Well,
that seems
yeah.
to be how they like to title it. If we're going to go with Tak-3 for Taken 3, I think we need to go with M3GAN on this one. So M3GAN is the latest Blumhouse venture. It's one of their sort of lower budget ones. Like, this has the same kind of budget as like a Purge movie.
Right.
So it's somewhere between like an undisclosed amount, somewhere between $5 and $15 million, for instance. So you've got the biggest star in there really is Alison Williams, who's the adult female lead, and she is Alison Williams from Girls and Get Out. So she's worked with Blumhouse before, and she is the toy company designer, like a Hasbro designer type. Not actually Hasbro, because obviously for legal reasons they're not Hasbro,
Of course.
but like a Hasbro level toy designer who has to take in and care for her orphaned niece when her sister and brother-in-law are killed in a car accident. And as a form of sort of therapy for the niece, because she knows nothing about parenting, she gives her this experimental prototype android doll they've got, which is effectively Siri in a doll. Or Alexa in a doll.
And it looks freaky, if I'm honest.
And it looks very freaky. It kind of looks like Veruca Salt from the 1970s Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Willy Wonka.
It does.
Yeah. Kind of looks like Veruca Salt. That's why I couldn't get out of my head all the way through. And of course, being an android and meant to do good, she of course very quickly goes wrong. And what you wind up with is an Isaac Asimov-like tale in which the robot, thinking it's protecting its human forces, goes on a killing spree. Because of course they would. It's a Blumhouse movie. It is, to the Child's Play remake, what Upgrade was to the RoboCop one. Have a clip. This is Megan's skills, or M3GAN's skills, being shown off.
Studies indicate that a staggering 78% of a parent's time is spent dishing out the same basic instructions.
Oh my God, Katie, you have to flush the toilet. It is not that hard.
So we found someone else to pick up the slack.
Katie, flush the toilet. Wash your hands. Roll up your sleeves. Great job. It was my friend Jenny's birthday.
Megan's an excellent listener.
This guy told them that the 13th floor was haunted.
And she even has a few stories of her own.
If it was so, it might be. And if it were so, it would be. But as it isn't, it ain't. That's logic.
Said Tweedledee.
She'll never run out of ways to keep your child occupied, and she'll never run out of patience.
Katie, seriously, flush the toilet.
Now, you know I love these kind of movies, you know, I, Robot, Ex Machina. I mean, is it as good as either of those?
It's got the fun factor that I think those lack. You know, in the wackier moments of Ex Machina, when you had like Oscar Isaac doing his flamboyant dancing and everything, and he was so good at that.
Yeah.
When you get to those fun moments, Megan is built mostly on moments like that, moments of the fun and the sort of sadistic black humor.
Right.
There's a sequence that's in the trailers of Megan dancing, doing this very creepy, intimidating dance. It is the creepiest dance sequence from any movie since Gamer in 2009. Sorry. I thought this was just a great time. It's a 3-star movie that's a 4-star experience. It's nothing revelatory. Like you say, you've seen those movies, so you know exactly what the plot of this is going to be, how it's going to get worked out. And it is, it's very much in the vein of something like Child's Play, only, you know, it's aimed more at sort of female characters, from the perspective of female characters. And instead of a dead serial killer or a deranged AI in the male version, this one is a next level deranged AI. So it is its own thing. I really enjoyed it, but I like the design of Megan more than anything else. Like you say, she's instantly creepy, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you Google Megan with a 3 as the second letter rather than an A, E even, it's you'll see the pictures. It's all over the internet, and it is quite freaky, almost the stuff of nightmares, if I'm honest, from after looking at it myself.
It is absolute nightmare fuel. It really is. That's the thing. It's quite a family-friendly scarer as well. It's only, I think it's a 15 or a 12A, dependent, but it's quite bloodless compared to what it actually could be, especially for a Blumhouse film. You compare it to something like The Invisible Man, that one from 2020, I think it was, that came out, and what they did with that was absolutely chilling. That was absolutely terrifying. This is a far sillier film. This is something like on the Blumhouse spectrum. This is kind of like their answer to Monkey Shines, if you're keeping the 80s horror riffs going. This is like their equivalent in terms of the sort of horror level to Monkey Shines.
So
absolutely.
No real big jumpy moments we need to be aware of then, because those sometimes can get a bit much.
There's a couple of sort of cheerful jump scares.
That's
I think.
fine.
There's a couple. That's a good one. Oh, I
That's
like
all
that
right.
one. Yeah, but you can kind of see them coming. They're not going to you're not going to jump out your skin or anything with it.
I like that. No, this is definitely on my list of one to watch in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to go and see it, it's M3GAN, M3GAN, and it is available and out today in cinemas. For now, then, thank you very much, Van Connor. It's been an absolute pleasure. Do you know what we're talking about on Friday next week?
Next week, I can tell you we're going to be talking about a movie called Alex Darling, starring Anna Kendrick, that I'm very much looking forward to. And I think next week's The Fabelmans as well, which is either next week or the week after, which is the Steven Spielberg's not quite a biopic. So he's done a biopic, but he's renamed everyone so that then... I mean, the movie's called Fabelmans, which literally means storymans.
Yeah.
So... he's not being subtle. I mean, this is the Senor Spielbergo of Spielberg plays, if we're being honest.
Well, I'm a big Anna Kendrick fan and Steven Spielberg fan, so it's all to look forward to next week then. All right, well, we speak then. Van, have a lovely rest of the day and a good weekend, all right?
Till the next time, good sir.